Django F on Facebook says, hello, I'm about to go to NZ and do a few long hikes. The problem I have is that I do not know anybody in the country. So do you have any tips on how to stay safe and tell someone where I am? So first up, let me just praise you for actually wanting to stay safe. That is a good thing, you know, like a lot of people are just kind of like, yeah, that is smart.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people are like, I'll be all right, and then this is when the chopper kind of
yeah, I was just thinking that then is when the helicopter comes out.
Yeah, exactly. So that's really good that you want to be safe. So now I'm just going to preface by saying that the emergency number in New Zealand is 111. You will be surprised by how easily you're going to get a cell phone network. There are obviously a lot of remote places in New Zealand where you won't have a network, and a lot of hike you won't have network. But it's quite surprising. Like quite often you just go on top of a mountain and you end up having network.
I got signal here.
Yeah. Actually, the last hike we did, Laura and I, like 2 days ago, we arrived on top of the mountain absolutely exhausted. I wasn't about to call the helicopter, but I just checked my phone, so I was taking a couple of pictures and posting on Facebook and stuff. And I actually had network, which was very surprising to me. So you'll be not like surprised at that. So the emergency phone number is 111. Now you want to know how to tell someone your plans. And that's quite funny because it's actually the motto of an agency in New Zealand, which is called Adventure Smart, which is tell someone your plan. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Now the simplest way to tell someone your plan is to use your phone and send a text to safe. So it's 7233. So if on your phone you send a text to 7233, I won't do it right now, but you say where you're going, what's your travel direction, where you currently are, just a couple of information. This is a database that the police keeps in case of an emergency. So if they look for you, they will actually look through this database to see if you did send a text. So again, sending a text to say where you are and what your travel direction basically is the best thing to do. So it's 7233 and it's on your phone. It literally spells safe, so it's very easy. And so it's definitely the best thing to do. Now, once you send a text, you're going to receive a confirmation message, kind of a confirmation message saying if you are in danger, call 111 right now. Don't call 111. It's literally just acknowledging that your query has basically been lodged. So if you don't appear or anything like that, well, basically this is where they're going to be looking first to see if there is a trace of your trip. The other thing that you can be doing to tell people what is your plan is to use the Adventure Smart website. So on the Adventure Smart website, there is a form which is very easy to find. You just click on the form and you fill it up, and you are able to lodge what's going to be your trip, what's going to be your adventure, where you're going, who you're going with. You can even put what you packed, so people they literally know what to look for. So like something really smart that would do in the text as well as in on the Adventure Smart website that would say, well, I have a bright red jacket and a bright blue backpack. Just something so when they found a bright red jacket, they're like, okay, I'm on the right trail, if you're really that lost, which you won't, but just in case, it's pretty smart. So on the Adventure Smart website, so I think it's adventuresmart.co.nz, but either or, we will put it in the description below. You fill up the form and you do that. So if you do the text to 7233 and if you do the form on the Adventure Smart website, you should be covered and someone will know where you are. And you can use that as often as you want. There's no problem with that. There's no cost in using that, so you're going to be all good. Now, the best thing to do is not to get lost, not to get stranded, and not to run into trouble. And for that, we do have a few outdoor kind of safety tips. Yeah. And Laura is going to get us started.
All right. First of all, you want to keep an eye on the weather. Like you have heard us say a lot that the weather does change every 2 seconds in New Zealand, but
does it?
Yeah.
How many seasons is there in one day?
Well, apparently there's 4 seasons in one day in New Zealand. So yeah, it's hard to judge the weather, but if you are about to do sort of a hike in maybe an alpine area, somewhere a little bit a little bit where it could be dangerous if the weather turns bad, or you could get like super cold if it's an exposed area, for example. Then if you check the weather beforehand and it looks like it's going to be either super windy or really rainy or snowy, then obviously maybe it's a good idea to make some other plans and not go on that hike. So that's obviously a good way to not get yourself into trouble. But also, like I just said, because the weather is always very changeable, it's a very good idea to be prepared with all the right gear in your backpack. Make sure that you have wet weather gear. Even not just a rain jacket, but you can even get some like rainproof trousers. You can make sure you have some like waterproof hiking shoes as well, and make sure that you have extra layers to keep yourself warm. If it's super sunny at the beginning of the hike, the weather can still change, and yeah, you don't want to set off on any hike in just your shorts and t-shirt and not have any other backup. That would be an absolute no-no. And also make sure that you have all the sort of right gears in terms of having snacks in your backpack. Make sure that you have enough water as well. Usually when we go on like our like day hikes and stuff, we actually fill up a full 3-liter like bottle or camelback. And
we don't just fill it up, we actually do drink it. We end up with it almost empty every time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's per person as well. And whatever you do, don't think like, oh, it's going to be too much to carry, because you really get used to that weight anyway, and it's definitely worth having all that extra stuff in your backpack just in case. Also, when you are planning which trail you're going to be hiking on, make sure that you do actually some research on the trail and see if you actually have, you know, the right ability to do it. Some of the tracks in New Zealand are tramping tracks, or could be like all uphill, or could be kind of rough trails. And you know, you need to really know your own abilities, and if you completely run out of stamina, or you know, you just get super tired and you can't go on, you get a little bit stuck, then you know, that's not an ideal scenario. So make sure that you can actually do the track that you're planning on doing. Do you want to say anything else?
Yeah, terrain. Did you talk about terrain already?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay, terrain. Make sure that you're aware of what kind of terrain you're going to encounter during your hike. A lot of people just underestimate how steep it's going to be, how rocky it's going to be, how swampy it's going to be, how sandy it's going to be, just all those kind of factors. So just research a little bit the track beforehand. You know, the Department Conservation website has a lot of information on it, so make sure you check this one out. And also pair that with knowing your own abilities. Know what you're capable of. If this is your first hike and you think that you can hike in your little Asics running shoes, well, just go for like a short, you know, 4-hour hike and just stick to that for the beginning. Try it and see if you can do more. Be aware of your own abilities. Don't overestimate that because of all those changing things, terrain, because the terrain can change as well. You know, if it starts snowing, for example, which does happen. It did happen to me once, where I started the hike normally and then it started snowing, which is a big difference. You know, be aware of those kind of things as well. Obviously, packing the right gear, you covered that.
Yeah.
If you get lost on a hike, number one thing to do: stand still. Do not start running around. Do not try to find your path. Stand still and assess the situation. If you are not 100% sure how to backtrack, stay where you are, find yourself a bit of a shelter and stay there until the storm passes or something passes. If you know exactly 100% sure how to backtrack, you backtrack until the last either orange sign arrows that you've seen. It happened to us literally a couple of days ago. So you backtrack until the last orange arrow, and then from there you try to locate where is the next orange arrow, and then you move toward there, and it's from one orange arrow to the other. That's the sign marking.
And just on top of that, it is the orange arrows that you're following on hikes, which do have those orange arrows, because some hikes are so easy that they have the trail very well marked. But if you are going on a little bit of a rougher trail, then orange arrows will tell you where to go. Don't follow any different other coloured arrows. Like there's blue arrows, for instance, which will take you to where pest traps are and go, you know, they're more for the conservation workers of the area.
Orange arrow, and you follow usually the point in the right direction. So when the arrow is like that, that means you have to go there. I mean, not up, but you know, forward.
Exactly.
All right, cool. And finally, water safety. If you are about to enter the water or to do anything with water, if you go to a remote beach for surfing or anything like that, here's a couple of things that you need to keep in mind.
Yeah, so if you're unsure of if you can actually go swimming somewhere, then it's usually a better idea to just don't go swimming. There's a lot of rivers and stuff in New Zealand, which, they can have some hidden currents and things like that, and also a lot of rip currents from the beaches in New Zealand, and particularly on the west coast of New Zealand, the currents are a lot stronger there. So yeah, make sure that you know that it's safe to swim somewhere before you actually go and do that. It's also a good idea to not swim or surf alone. Make sure that you have someone else with you, so that if anything does go wrong, then you can, they'll be there to help you. In summer, a lot of the popular beaches around New Zealand have flags and a lifeguard, so that is, when that's a safe place to swim. Swim between the flags and you should be all good. I've already mentioned about rips and currents. There's a lot of rips and currents on many of the beaches around New Zealand, so don't just sort of swim anywhere, because there is a risk of that. And if you are traveling with kids, obviously make sure you keep an eye on the kids when they're swimming, and just at all times as well, make sure that they're safe.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So that's, I have to say that was a very smart question. I think that was a very, very clever question. But yeah, this is everything you need to know to be safe kind of when you go on one of those multi-day hikes. If you do have any questions of your own, in the comments below, in the live chat right now, and otherwise you can find us on Facebook and anything. And obviously, if you find that useful, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out a lot.
Yeah.